Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome into a Sunday edition of Snaps. It's very early in the morning. Very excited to be here. We love doing this. We're going live today because we have some massive news. Jimbo Fisher out at A&M. Real quick, I apologize for my voice. You already know what it is, though, dude. I mean, I sit there on a mic all Saturday, and I smoke and drink, and it is what it is. So let's get into it. Aaron, first off, how are we feeling? You look amazing, as always. You've already been up, like, watching film and stuff, I believe, correct?
Yes, since 5:36 this morning, trying to catch up. And then the breaking news with Jimbo at A&M that just broke, 10 minutes ago. So excited to kind of talk about what we saw yesterday on the football field, talk a little Jimbo as well. But another good Saturday. Congratulations on the win. And
Yeah.
Jayden for Heisman. Jayden Daniels for Heisman, unless you don't know football.
Yeah, so we'll talk UJ. So Jimbo, UJ, Ole Miss, Jayden, Oregon, USC, Washington, Utah, Missouri, Tennessee. So stick around. It's gonna be a fun show. Now, Jimbo Fisher, apparently officially out. Let me read the exact tweet here that was sent to our group. Texas A&M, the Board of Regents met. Oh my God, I'm fucking this up. Here we go. Per multiple, this is from Billy Lucci, TexAgs.com. Like, the man basically knows everything that goes on at Texas A&M in every little shadow everywhere. Breaking, per multiple sources, Texas A&M set to part ways with Jimbo Fisher as early as today. Decision was reached to the recommendation of the athletic department / university president during last Thursday's Board of Regents meeting. So this is not like a reaction to a single game. Granted, it kind of feels like one to losing to Lane Kiffin for 3 years in a row. But Jimbo Fisher officially out, and I don't know. I like, do you think, I don't know, probably getting paid $70+ million not to work. Like, that's like, maybe they reached a buyout of some sort, right? Something more.
Why would he, though? Why would he? Why would he?
I know.
What is Jimbo? Why? Oh yeah, fire me, and I'll walk away for 40 or 50, unless he just is so sick of the situation that he wants to walk. But if I'm him, I get all the power. Jimbo has all the power. Fire my ass.
Yeah,
$7 million.
So I mean, I would actually like to celebrate and congratulate Jimbo Fisher because he pulled off something that shouldn't be possible among human beings. I mean, I'm talking like if we look throughout all of human history, and maybe some history nerds in the chat can help us out here, but I don't know that you will have ever found someone who gets fired and then gets, whatever the time period's equivalent wealth is of $75 million. I mean, it's just all-time fucking good. Congratulations, Jimbo. You can get all the rances now. You can finally chill. You don't have to worry about all these weird-ass Aggie people constantly on your nuts 24/7. Like, you can go live wherever the hell you want. You can provide for your family for generations. Congratulations to Jimbo Fisher. It's actually incredible for him.
Oh, it's unbelievable. But it's not just the $76 million. You and I have talked about this before, T. It's now having to possibly buy out another coach from his current contract if you go that route, and then paying him and his new staff. I mean, this is going to be $90+
$100 million. It's $100 million.
million.
We'll just call it an even hundo.
Yeah, this is $100 million ordeal that's taking place in College Station right now. You are eating $100 million because they're not going to just get some average coach. They're not going to go out there and get, no offense, but Billy Napier. They're going to get a proven Power 5 coach. They think that they can come in there, take over a program that is littered with 4 and 5 stars, incredible facilities, resources, fan base, stadium, in the best conference. It's the perfect situation for any coach. So they're going to go out there and get someone who they believe can win and win next year. This isn't a rebuild. This is a beautiful situation for any coach. It's a dream situation.
It really is. Well,
it's unbelievable.
Okay. But therein lies the problem, Aaron, is that on paper, A&M is a dream situation, but it's almost like Stepford Wives or something. Or there's like everything on the outside looking in looks great, but then once you actually move in the neighborhood, you figure out that like everybody's fucking each other. This people's murdering and burying him in the backyard. Like, there's just like something seedy.
Or is it just Jimbo? Or was it just Jimbo?
Bro, it's been 50 years. It's been ever since Bear Bryant left them. They've always had all the elements. They've always had the buy-in. They've always had the facilities. They've always had the money. And I get that now in the NIL era, they can lean on the money even more, right? Yes. So that's impactful. But But no, they haven't won a conference.
They've never had a roster like this, though. They've never had a roster as good as they've had right now. Like, that is also a missing piece.
But my point is, Bear Bryant left them in the 50s, and they just haven't won anything since. And if you look at all their peers that they would compare to, where on paper you would say, yes, they have all the advantages that this school has, they should have fallen into some conference championships somewhere along the way, fallen into maybe even like a single. So
you think of the past. You think of the past couple decades, or even prior to when they joined the SEC. I mean, you were still going when Texas was rolling, when Oklahoma was rolling. Like, that's hard to kind of get. We've talked about them being.
But what's the difference
younger
now?
Brother. The difference now is then you jump into the SEC, and then you got in the middle of SEC West with Nick Saban during the greatest dynasty that we've ever seen.
Yeah, well, guess what? Now it's Kirby Smart with the best dynasty you've ever seen, and it's Brian Kelly, and it's
I'm just saying, like,
Surgeon Texas coming into the conference.
Over the past 2 decades, this is the best, most talented roster that A&M has had. And I thought you brought up a good point too. Like, they can use NIL to a major advantage for them. So I think it is different. I do think right now they're more positioned because of the landscape and what Jimbo kind of built from a roster standpoint to have success immediately.
So I want to be clear. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think you're absolutely right. But that's just the weird dark magic of A&M, is that for some reason it just keeps going wrong. Like, Jimbo Fisher should have been a
thing. I think it's a Jimbo thing. I think it's a Jimbo thing more than an A&M thing.
Okay, but also he did build this roster with all that, all that talent. Like, the next guy better be able to recruit at the same level that Jimbo did. Okay. There's so many different ways we could talk about this. We can get into candidates here in a minute. First, let's kind of do a what do you call it when you look at a dead body? Like a
autopsy?
Coroner. Yes, let's do an autopsy. Thank you, Aaron. God, look at you, smart guy.
You sound so surprised that I actually knew a word. I appreciate it, though.
It's not very often that I'm the one searching for the the vocabulary. I tend to love it. Fuck you. You're the meathead. Okay, we all know this. You're QB1. You're just out here trying to KP Kenny Powers bang girls. Let's do an autopsy on the Jimbo era at A&M. Where did what went so wrong? Why when he put together the most talented class we've ever seen in our lives, incredible amounts of buy-in, incredible facility upgrades that, again, he deserves credit for because he is the figure that's giving everybody confident enough to make these moves. Why did it all go so wrong?
Well, I think for me, the first thing is he made some really bad decisions at the quarterback spot. Kellen Mond was a good quarterback, good college quarterback, and that's when they had their most success. I know it was the COVID year, and you and I've we've talked about that enough of, like, does the COVID year count or not? It was still a really good year for A&M.
It was a great year.
With 9-1, all SEC games 9-1. But then after that, he hitched his wagon to the wrong horse. He had an in-state guy. I'm drawing a blank right now, quarterback for Georgia Tech now, Haynes King. And everyone who knows the quarterback position knew that, like, this kid just is not the right answer. And it was always kind of head scratching to me of, like, why is Jimbo playing this guy? And the offense just fell off. I think also too, the fact that he took so long to give up those play calling duties to allow someone to evolve the offense. You couple that with, really subpar quarterback play. And then this year too, it didn't help that Connor Wegman, was injured. I still don't think that there's this massive drop from Wegman to Max Johnson at all. But it was just already the seat was already so warm that any small step backwards from a year ago, or even major step backwards, was going to be magnified even more. So I think, not evolving the offense, not bringing in someone soon enough to kind of take that off your plate, and then some really bad quarterback decisions over the past few years that really stalled this offense. And you were brought in to be an offensive guy. Like I always say, like, if to me nowadays, I want a coach that, win or lose, at least entertain me, at least score points, at least make it a 30, 40-point game where I walk away saying that was fun. We lost, but it was fun. If you can do both, then you might get a long-ass contract. Jimbo didn't win football games, and he didn't produce offensively consistently.
So that's where I think it gets a bit fascinating. Is it almost has a feeling of like a Dolphins Dante Culpepper, where you got him when he was already done. You just didn't know he was done yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we can look back and we can look at those last years at Florida State. And at the time, we kind of gave Jimbo a free pass. We said, it was more about Florida State. And he had that run where he had like EJ Manuel and it crescendoed with Jameis Winston, right?
National
And
championship.
yeah, and we thought that was Jimbo making them great. And it is, it is, it's both, right? Both sides got to work together to create greatness, create a championship. But we start to score it with the benefit of hindsight now, and you're like, well, yeah, maybe some of that, maybe like a little more of that was Jameis than we thought originally. And then you look at like the fall at Florida State, and you're like, well, maybe that wasn't just because Florida State like wouldn't give him resources, and you see that, wait, he actually hasn't had good offense ever since 2013, and you realize that at a certain point, the game passed Jimbo by, but the problem is, you just didn't know it at the time. And that's why they say hindsight's 2020. So to me, the entire hiring was actually, like, when I look back on it, it was flawed from its inception. But here's what A&M's got to learn. Because here's that dumb shit, and we're going to get to the super chat, y'all. Thank you. But here's that dumb shit that it's like part of the reason why I think A&M does have this weird juju. They gave this man a national championship plaque the day he got hired. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Is that not sports jinx 101? Like that is like the most base level. You never ever do this, much less publicly. Like, they did it publicly. It shows such a fundamental misunderstanding of what it takes to win a championship, and it kind of feels a little entitled. It does feel like the classic rich kid who's just he's like, I'm just gonna spin my way out of any problem. I'm gonna spin my way to success. What was that asshole kid that that he was like drunk driving, he killed a family, then he tried to run away to Mexico, he was suffering from affluenza. That's what he tried to claim in court. Texas A&M is suffering from affluenza. They have to understand that money alone does not win championships. You have to go out there. You have to do the hard work. You got to build it from the ground up, and you got to earn it. And they obviously didn't understand that from day one with Jimbo. And what's crazy now, all money spent on a buyout comes with the opportunity cost of now you can no longer pay the players the $70 million that you're going to have to pay Jimbo, which is devastating and doubly frustrating in the NIL era.
Yeah, especially as Texas joins the SEC, and right now Texas is alone at top of the Big 12. And look like the big favorite to not only win the Big 12 but possibly get into the playoff. And you're dealing, and I think that goes into part of it too. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that A&M fans are looking at this like Texas is rolling. Sarkisian has this thing going in the right direction. They have a chance to not only win their conference but be in the playoffs. And we're kind of sitting here fumbling, bumbling, can't figure out offense. Once again, not going to compete in SEC championship. Looks like we're gonna have an 8-win season. This ain't good enough, and now we have to truly compete with Texas year in and year out in this state. A change needs to be happening, and I know the $76 million is a lot of money, but when we've broken down the past, like you either bite the bullet now or do it in 2 or 3 years when it's $20 million difference. Like, to these people, what's the difference of waiting 2 more years to have what you already are getting?
Yes,
to pay $55 million instead of 75. Like, if it's year 6. This is as good as Jimbo is going to do. You have the roster, you have the talent, you have the 4- and 5-star guys. You've accumulated enough of those guys on that team where, like I said at the beginning, you put any elite coach on that roster right now, that's a 9, 10, 11 win football team. And he just can't get it done. So, like, if it's not getting done this year, it ain't going to get done in 2 years. So for that state and those boosters is really an extra $15 million just to rip the Band-Aid off now. That important? Obviously not.
That's the genius of Jimmy Sexton, right? He built this in such a way that there was never really any great financial relief on the other side. So, like we talked about, what's the difference between 50 and 70? Not 2 years worth, not to them.
Not to them.
Jack Mazzell with a $5 super chat. What is more cringe, shingles or the Texas A&M Midnight Holler? Both are painful. But I don't even think I'll actually, okay, first off, I like all A&M's culty shit. That's like why college football is cool. But Midnight Holler is not the weirdest thing. I just learned this season, Aaron, that after every home win, the cadets rush the field and carry the yell leaders on their shoulders to a fountain outside the stadium. They then dump the yell leaders into the fountain, who swim around and do like their movements, and all the cadets like cheer and like chant and shit.
It is so bizarre, but I'm with you in the sense of like, I love it because it's what makes college football special. Like, you don't get that anywhere else.
Yes.
I would never do it. I would never
Yeah.
want to be a part of it, but it is interesting looking at it from afar. We're like, okay, good for you guys. You're not embarrassed of the weirdness.
Brad David, $5 super chat. What's next for Jimbo? Does he retire? Go be a coordinator somewhere. I think he retires, bro. Right? For sure, dude. Go live your life. Go live your life.
How old
And
is
plus,
Jimbo?
if he's like got to be 60 something. Yeah. So now
58 years old. 58.
Okay, yeah.
He
Go
looks
retire.
older.
So well, yeah, that's what being in Texas A&M will do to you.
Mm.
So here's what kind of sucks for all of us though. None of us are A&M fans. I love Jimbo at A&M. You know, I mean, that's a team that LSU's probably going to end up having to deal with every year when the SC goes to 9 games. Like, I loved having A&M Jimbo there because it meant that A&M sucked. I'm scared of A&M actually hitting on a great coach. So let's talk potential candidates. A lot of people in chat are saying Lanning. There's no way. No way.
$20 million buyout from Oregon. $20 million buyout.
But not even that. Like, I first, that would be so sad for Oregon. I don't know why it keeps happening to them if that did. But like, I think Dan Lanning is very much proving that he feels like he can win a championship at Oregon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that man sees
They
the
look
glass
damn
ceiling.
good. We'll break that game down. They look damn good last night for USC. I don't think that's a lot. I think there's a couple names that run to my mind, and we do appreciate everyone Sunday morning jumping in the chat with us. I think we got over 300 people watching now. Make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe. Road to 8K. We are getting very close, so we appreciate y'all early Sunday morning hanging out with T-Bob and I as we do our reactions. The two top candidates that come to mind for me are, Elko, which I'll let you talk about him because I know you're more on that. But I think Lane Kiffin. I think Lane Kiffin to me is the perfect a guy that has had a lesser roster, but has beat you for 3 straight years. Like, you've gone against him. You've seen what Lane Kiffin can do, and he's won 3 straight damn years. I think the one negative is, there's something about Lane going against Nick Saban and just how that kind of throws him off. But there's still, to my mind, I look at it as there's a major roster difference between where Alabama is and where Ole Miss is. Lane should never win that football game. Now I would like to see what he looks like going against Kirby, going against Nick, with actually a roster that could compete against those guys. So he's beat you 3 times in a row. He's about to go 10-2 this season in the SEC. I think he would be my favorite. I think you can get him a little bit more cheap when it comes to a buyout than necessarily going after a Lanning where you have to pay $20 million to get him out.
Like, I don't think Lanning's going to leave. I don't think Lanning wants. Why the fuck would Lanning leave and join the SEC when the Big Ten is going to be good but infinitely more winnable?
I agree.
Than the SEC. Like, the rest of the Big Ten outside the Big 3 are trash.
And it's not like a money difference. Oregon has a ton of money.
Yeah.
Oregon's going to get a lot of money in the new Big Ten deal. So it's not like, I got to go to the SEC to kind of keep pace if I want to win a championship. If you're a part of Big Ten or the SEC, you're going to have the resources to win a championship. So I agree. Like, I don't see the big lore unless you're looking at recruiting, leaving Oregon to go to Texas to get maybe a better roster eventually. But that's about it.
Now, I will say this. That's not to say there won't be whispers, because all the names we're about to mention are going to get paid. It is officially extension season, boys. Lock him up. Like, I don't know where Lane ends up, but I know he ends up with another raise. But look, I agree with you that I think Lane's the
but Ole Miss can't afford it though.
No,
Ole Miss
I know.
Don't get the money for that.
Well, then he's going to go to A&M. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like,
who else is out there? Who else? I mean, you want Elko though.
Well, I don't know, because now Lane is on the verge of winning 10 games in the regular season Ole Miss twice in 3 years, something that had never been done before. And Elko's great, but I feel like A&M thinks they're better than Elko. Yeah. I doubt they would go after him. Dion?
No.
Too early? A year too early?
I think early. Well, I think for him, unfortunately, his son and Travis can't leave. They can't transfer again. He's not going to leave them.
So he's stuck.
I think that's the number one thing. I think he would not leave because he's not going to leave.
A year too early.
Yeah, a year too early for him. Plus, I said this before. Like, I don't think Dion is much of a difference from Jimbo. Like, Dion's great at rebuilding a program, no doubt about it. Like, he can bring the energy, the juice, the excitement, bring in the recruits. A&M has all that. They got all the recruits. They got all the excitement. Like, they need an X's and O's guy now that kind of take those players to another level. And I don't think Dion necessarily is that brand of coach that would be much of that much of a bigger impact in my mind.
Do you look at what Liberty is doing right now? Look at what Coastal Carolina is doing. If you wanted a hot up-and-comer, would you ever give it to a Jamie Chadwell?
Nope.
Okay.
I love Jamie. But this is a roster that's built to win right now.
Well, Jamie would win right now. Jamie showed up at Liberty, and now their quarterback's like top 5 in the nation and everything, along with like Jayden Daniels.
But Hugh Freeze left Liberty in a spot they were one of the best Power 5 teams.
Yeah, but look at how bad
there was a massive roster difference between them and everyone else.
No, okay, but fair. But at Coastal Carolina, look at the success he had, and look what happened after he left to Grayson McCall and stuff.
I just think it's always a risk. Ask Florida. Look at Florida right now.
I know.
Does not want to go down that route. They do not. They have the resources to go out there and pay for a proven winner. They're not going to get someone that has not coached at this level and done it successfully. Matt
Taylor says Jeff Brom. I mean, from a success this year standpoint and what he did at Purdue, I can kind of see it, but I don't know why he'd want to leave Louisville. I mean, maybe more money or something, but
he's a Louisville guy though, correct?
Yes, very much so. He's a grad. He was a great quarterback back in the day. Him and his brother are both there. No. Any other names to jump off? I don't think they want to go to the coordinator route. I wouldn't imagine. That seems disastrous. Somebody said Lance Leipold in the chat. I feel like A&M probably thinks they're better than that. I feel like, I don't know. It just feels like they're going to want something a little sexier potentially. No, Matt, I know Brom can't win a natty at Louisville, but
you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect.
Somebody said for being happy.
You want to go from going from the perfect Colt person to a Colt, get Dabo from Clemson.
Oh, that would really show Tyler. Okay, you want me out of here, Tyler? Well, guess what? I'm going to Aggie Land. That would actually be incredibly powerful combination there. The amount of belief
that so much juice would be in College Station with those two, head coach and fan base.
We need to get to the recap.
There's not a lot crazy. Though, to me. I mean,
I know, like candidate wise, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like it kind of feels like Kiffin, and then like again, I don't think they are going to be excited about paying $100 million to hire Mike Elko. Even if you think he's great, like they won't humble themselves and do that. You need to hire a coach who's won national championship. They need to go hire Mac Brown. It's the only way this is going to work. He won a championship at Texas, Aaron. Bring him back to Texas. See if he can do it all over again.
Not a lot of answers.
A lot of people saying Lanning. We'll see. I didn't feel like it. Hire Brian Kelly. I agree, dude. Hire Matt House. How about that? Anybody hire Matt House, please. For the love of God, hire Matt House. Somebody, just hire him, please. His eyes are too close together. Pisses me off. All right, Urban Meyer. Okay, last one. Urban Meyer. Hell no. No, the answer is hell.
You know, it's an interesting one. No. Do you think Dan Mullen? If you know that you're going to be able to recruit because of all the resources they have at A&M, and like he doesn't have to really dabble in that too much, just let the powers that be bring in the players, and he kind of just does what he does.
Like Dan Mullen is one of the best X's and O's minds of all time.
Yep.
But if you look at his tenure at Florida, they fucked up the biggest moments kind of consistently, which I think may hold A&M fans back. Maybe not though. Maybe not.
It's an interesting one.
It is. No, I mean, you have to explore it. Like you kick those tires for sure. All right. So that Jimbo out in Aggieland, like we said, insane. Kalen DeBoer is great. Again, I don't know why Kalen DeBoer would want to leave. Like when you're having so much success, and I don't think A&M would want to full commit to DeBoer until you see him. Like, how does DeBoer do when it's not him and Penix? Because they were great at Indiana together. They're great at watching together, and I love Kalen DeBoer. You know, I believe in him. But like, they're gonna want to see that. All right. Cliff Kingsbury, get the hell out of here. Take a look. Ox in the shop, go Dogs. You putting the dogs on top? Well, let's talk about it right after we hear from our friends at DraftKings. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. Right now, new customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, like it doesn't matter. You start the season, with an instant dub. And always remember, the DraftKings parlays, everyone's got a shot at even bigger basketball wins. So string together multiple bets in the same game or build a parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Bottom line is, basketball is more fun when you're in on the action. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TBOB, TBOB. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code TBOB, TBOB. The crown is yours. Dobby says, seriously though, please someone give me a good reason why A&M's a good job aside from the money. Most of these big schools have money without the weird traditions and lack of winning. Yeah, but you know what?
Great players.
But the money's tight too.
Yeah, money's
if somebody's going to pay you $10 million, you got to at least consider it. All right, let's get into, and we'll start. Isn't that what you guys do to each other? God, there was probably so much of that going on yesterday. We all just barking up.
Even Pat McAfee bought into it, and they bought into it so much with the barking that Kurt Herbstreit yesterday brought his golden retriever to the game. Had his golden retriever walking on the field.
Herbstreit's golden retriever's having a moment right now. He's flying on the PJ with Herbie constantly. He's all over his social media. He is
good looking golden.
I feel bad because Herbstreit might be the hardest working man in football. I mean, he does Amazon Thursday night NFL games. He rolls in a game
last night. I ain't gonna lie, I felt bad.
He works 24/7 and he's flying 24/7. And it's like this dog is his lone thing to fall back on to give him some love. And it truly is a support animal. Okay, but UGA beating the fuck up out of Ole Miss, Athens at night. And look, boys, I know that some of y'all think I'm a hater just because I demand greatness out of you. And I want to see you live up to my lofty expectations. But yes, after the full volume of work that we saw over the weekend, your Georgia Bulldogs should clearly be the number one team in the country.
Oh, no doubt about it. And it was a little bit, listen, it was not pretty early on. Georgia, of course, first possession defensively, gives up a touchdown, 3rd and 15. Check down, gets it to 4th and 1. Ole Miss goes for it, gets it, marches on the field, scores. You're like, oh, man. And I think it was 14-14 at one point there beginning of the second quarter. And I was like, man, this is going to be a hell of a football game. Like, everyone's looking at me like, Aaron, what do you think? What do you think? I'm like, my score prediction was 36-31. We may get there at halftime. And like Kirby does and this defense does, they kind of buckle down from midway through the second quarter through the end of the game. And it's still a defense that's not given up over 21 points this season at all. Like we talk about, we always we give them crap because like, oh, they're not good. This is one of the best defenses in the country. They're just not what they were the past 2 years. Doesn't
Aaron,
mean they're not elite on that side. So to me, what they did last night against Lane Kiffin and that offense and Jackson Dart and Quinton Junkins and those receivers should give all Georgia fans confidence that you look at what they have going forward. That may be the best offense they face the rest of the season.
So you are right about the fact that sometimes the Georgia defense doesn't feel otherworldly because it's not otherworldly like maybe the last couple were at times. But Aaron, that you're in that number. I don't want to break the code here and bring group texts on air. But when it was 14-14, I believe a frustrated message was sent along the lines of this defense is fucking trash.
Who said that?
Something like that. You said that.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes,
don't you call your boy out like that. No.
No, yes,
PG,
dude. Hold on.
Go in the chats. Go in the chats
right now, dude.
No. I would never say that about my. No, I said
you didn't say fucking trash.
Ole Miss
is trash.
Ole Miss so bad at tackling. I said defense is terrible.
I'm
talking about Ole Miss's defense.
Oh, my bad. I misunderstood. My bad. I misunderstood. I thought you meant UGA's defense. I thought you were having a frustrated fan.
You said Ole Miss is so bad at tackling. I said their defense is terrible.
Okay, my bad. That's on me, y'all.
T-Bob trying to call me out and put me on blast in front of the dog fans over here. Holy smokes!
I know I was. My bad.
The defense is not terrible. It's not what it's been the past 2 years, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's pretty damn good. Look what they just did to Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, right? I think that, so I read that Jim Nagy yesterday was tweeting that he's hearing that Carson Beck is going to return to Athens next year.
That's what I got to when I talked to Carson the other day, but it's hard for me because I talked to him at the beginning of the season And I got the real feelings from him that he wanted to go one and done. And he's having such a good year right now.
Yeah, he's
And
really
if they
starting to
win a
ball.
natty, he's a first round. Like ESPN have number 5 quarterback. I have him at 2 or 3 for me. I think he's a first rounder. They have him kind of like mid-second. And I know the big thing is like, he's only played one season. Like it's always hard to kind of judge. But you look at next year's schedule for Georgia too. I think they're on the road at Alabama. They're on the road against Texas. It's going to be a significantly harder schedule. I just think you kind of, if you win a natty, you kind of take it and run to the NFL.
Well, but he could be the first overall pick next year.
He could.
Yeah. And he's probably already making over $1 million at least, right?
I do not know that. I'm sure he's making a lot of money, and I'm sure. And I'm
you
sure
don't pay him the players' lounge and then pay him $1 million alone to keep him in Athens?
I don't pay him $1 million. I will say this: I think, to me, and I like the backups. I think the backups are good. There's a drop, and I think Kirby knows that. I think the staff knows that. And you're not going to hit your wagon on some 5-star quarterback as a true freshman to keep the juju going, especially with the season Georgia has next year. So I'm sure there's some workings behind the scenes right now of finding a package for Carson to feel pretty good about coming back next year. Because if you want to win next season, you're going to need Carson to come back.
And I think this as well though. Like I don't. If Beck does leave, you just got to bring in a transfer quarterback. Everybody needs to every year, unless you just absolutely believe in your guy, like Carson Beck. They really believed in him. Then you have to bring somebody back. But I've really enjoyed watching the growth of Beck this year. Whereas he's playing for the first time at first, and it felt like it, but you could see the raw flashes. And now there's consistency to his game that is actually the main reason why I have Georgia number 1 in the country. And with the absence of Brock Bowers those few games, it got McConkey. McConkey came back healthy. Now he's rolling.
I just don't think.
Angry Texas. What did Ra end up with? Since you texted me that he made a big play, what were Ra's final numbers?
Ra 2 for 54.
Okay, kind of.
But he spreads the wealth out.
No, I know. I'm just fucking with you. No. Look, Georgia looks great.
Dom Lovett had 4 for 77. I just think if he wins and if Georgia wins, and he gets back a first round grade, are you going to really risk coming back for another year?
I don't think you think he'll get a first round grade though.
I think he would.
Okay. But nowadays you kind of can, because he could make millions of dollars, and he's one of the rare guys where for him, he could legitimately be like, I could be the number 1 overall pick, which 9.9% of players are not in that position.
Yep.
And he could be in that position. So maybe,
and he'd be right there in the top of the Heisman discussion. I just think when you look at the schedule,
but like college,
and he's already been there for 4 years. I know, I get it. But
winning is fun.
He's been there for 4 years. I think there's also a sense of like, I've been here a long damn time. I did what I needed to do and win a national championship. Like, let me move on to the rest of my life.
If I was making the money these kids are making nowadays, I'd have been motherfucking Van Wilder. I've been playing 8 years. I've been like getting medical. I've been doing everything I can to stay in college as long as possible. All right. So anything else on Georgia beyond they're clearly the best team, especially with how Michigan looked? Carson Beck is fucking awesome.
And
Brock Bowers returned.
Out. Yeah, Brock
Bowers returns. Like, it's just all coming up dogs, isn't it?
Yeah, the run game looked
coming down the track.
Yeah, sing it, T-Bomb. I would be very surprised if Georgia's not number 1 come Tuesday night. Once again, like this was the final thing. Like, he has to move them.
I kind of hope they don't, so I can just watch the melt. But
that's what Josh Brooks told me last night, the athletic director. I was like, hey, Josh, I think snaps we're gonna vote because he's been giving me crap. I told you this last week. Josh Brooks texted me, he's like, dude, why are you guys hating on us so much? I'm like, I'm not hating on you. I just, we have Michigan won.
Tell Josh we're just holding him to a standard.
And so Josh told me last night, he's like, don't put us at 1. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Look at him now. Yeah, classic. They're clearly going to be the number 1 of the snaps, top 10. Sorry, RB5 says how Michigan looked. They looked dominant. They did. But guys, this is okay. This is like when you do like a top 10 list of, well, that's exactly what this is, right? Everybody in the top 10 is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So when you talk about them, you have to find little things to critique that in a normal setting don't mean anything because they're awesome. So like when we say like, well, Michigan didn't look as dynamic or explosive, it doesn't mean Michigan's not incredible. It's just that when you're talking about what are because these are decisions being made at the margins. We're trying to separate great from great. And so you have to criticize things that are great. A great win for Michigan. Okay. After yesterday's action, I would take Georgia in a neutral site matchup. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. The weapons are the separation for Georgia over Michigan. Michigan felt like a team with a lack of weapons yesterday. Like I feel like Michigan and Ohio State right now are on a more even playing field than I thought. All right.
Ox in the chat. Ox in the chat. Aaron, did you talk with Stetson? Is he good? Really want to see him back on the Rams. I did talk with Stetson. You did talk with Stetson. It was good to see him. He looked healthy. He looked good. He looked like he's hopefully ready to get back on the Rams in the next, maybe a couple months or next season. So we'll see. But I think he's taking care of himself, which is, as everyone knows in this world, like you got to take care of you first and be right. And to me, he looked like the best he's looked since, quite some time.
Nobody said it better than Marshawn Lynch when I think he said, like, you got to take care of your mentals. And then I think is like take care of then the chicken after that. But so that's good to hear on Stetson. Can I make a Stetson joke? Was he pissed off when he got the award at halftime, or was he happy?
He kind of kept looking away from the camera, so I couldn't tell. I wasn't on the field at that point, so I was looking down like.
All right.
There wasn't any booing. At least there was all cheers for the mailman.
How about this? I want to talk Heisman, not Carson Beck. You already know who it is. But first, remember, November is here, and we are in the heart of football season, basketball, hockey cranking up. So many games to watch on any given day. But wouldn't it be better to be there live? It would be. And the best way to get tickets this month is on Game Time, the fastest growing ticket app in the U.S. So if you wanted to go to Athens last night, Death Valley was actually packed last night. 100K, Shaq in the building. 03 Natty team being honored, baseball Natty. No matter where you want to be, concert, maybe whatever you want to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with our friends at Game Time. You just download the Game Time app, you create an account, you redeem code SNAPS, SNAPS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, code SNAPS, SNAPS. It's $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. LSU is not a good football team. Jayden Daniels is the best football player in America right now. In case you missed it last night, Jayden Daniels had a game that it is not exaggeration to say is unlike anything we've ever seen before, because it literally statistically was factually unlike anything we've ever seen before. 307. Let me give you the exact numbers here, but I think it was 370 through the air, 220 something on the ground, 232 on the ground,
19.5 yard average running, 19.5 yards.
Yeah. Guys, so again, nobody's ever done a 350, 220 stat line. He's the first SEC player to ever account for 600 total yards in one game. And he ends up with 3 touchdowns through the air, 2 on the ground. It's just like we kept saying, if you're going to be on a 3-loss team, and they got to win these next 2 games, right? But if you're going to be on a 3-loss team and win a national championship, you have to become a statistical outlier. Jayden Daniels is now making himself a statistical outlier.
He is, and I do apologize. I'm outside, and there's like crows right above me. Can you hear them kind of?
Yeah, that you happen to eat crow for your Carson Beck Heisman vote or Heisman bet.
What it is.
Heisman bet over.
You know what's funny? I mean, he had the 2 awesome touchdown runs last night, like the 85-yard long one. I thought the second one was more impressive.
The 50-yarder was even crazier because he
so
just
much
nicer. The entire defense.
Yes, like that second one was like I was watching that this morning. I was like, whoa, that was sweet. Yeah, he's a Heisman Trophy winner. We said, it's not.
It ain't JJ McCarthy. Don't give me fucking
out.
8 past JJ McCarthy
is out. I mean, who else is left? Who else is left? Who truly is left?
So we obviously talked about this a lot last night on my post-game show. And to me, the threat is Bo Nix because he has the numbers. Oregon's really good, and he will be playing on championship weekend, whereas Jayden will have to be watching.
You know who's also a threat is Milroe. I think Milroe's rolling right now, and Milroe looks damn good. And if they beat Georgia,
is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Cue the crows. Crows, start up again, guys. Start up again. Aaron, he's thrown like 15 touchdowns. What are you talking about?
Mm-mm.
Jay Daniels scored
He's had
15
10
touchdowns last night.
He's had 10 touchdowns in the past 2 games.
I also don't agree that Penix is out. I think Penix and Nix are more viable candidates than
I think
Milroe.
Penix to me has lost a lot of juice these past few weeks.
He has. No.
He
has
a ton.
No, he's trending downward, but he's not out yet because they're going to be playing on championship weekend. Look, I
would put my money on Bo over Penix right now. I think Bo. I would agree.
I would
Bo
too.
Is,
That's what I said. Bo's the lead candidate.
Bo is the lead candidate right now. But Jayden is so much better than both those guys. Jayden is having the best season out of everyone. This is not an award that goes to the best player on the best football team. This goes to the best college football player in college football in America. And Jayden Daniels is that guy. Yeah. I think there's enough people reiterating that right now. Like when I watch shows, I look at social media where I think the people that are voting are going to hear that and get that message across their head.
Well, what's fascinating is we kind of thought going in the Alabama game that if Jayden lost, that it'd be like, okay. But he actually emerged with more juice after Alabama. Like it felt like everybody was kind of like, it's just clear that LSU kind of sucks, but this cat's incredible. And so when he was still alive to then come out in a night in a game that a lot of people are watching because Georgia Ole Miss got out of hand. So all of a sudden, like a lot of viewers showed up, Aaron, at the fourth quarter last night, beginning of the fourth quarter when it's still 38-35. And then they watched Jayden Daniels finish off this just unbelievable torrential downpour of a statistical performance, and they end up winning 52-35. And it's like, oh shit. I think Jayden Daniels made the most of the stage, and I've just never seen anything like it. And it's crazy. I thought I would never see anything akin to the offensive dominance of Joe Burrow. And here you are 4 years later with a completely different cast of characters, every level of the organization, and you're getting it again. And he's different than Burrow. Burrow was great in a different way. Jayden is he's the most
what are
dynamic
the number differences right now? Like total touchdowns?
I don't know. I'd have to look at this point. The problem is Burrow played 15 games and he got to 60 touchdowns. He threw 7 in the semifinals. So like Burrow also just started to like mega nut at the end of the year. So Jayden will never be able
if Jayden played that amount of games, I think he would break that. Or get close to
I don't know
it.
about breaking. We'd have to do
He's on pace to get about 50 total touchdowns, though. He's on pace to get 50 over the next 3.
It's insane, man. And again, I just can't stress this enough. It's because Jayden Daniels put in the work. All offseason. He was in the film room still. He does it during the week, 3 days a week. He's in the film room at 5 a.m. and he is out there afterwards. Like he did the work to make himself into a complete quarterback. I feel like they still have him as a second or third rounder. I feel like he's got to be a late first rounder, like Lamar Jackson.
So through 9 weeks, he has 3,400 yards, and Burrow had 3,300 yards.
Good God, man! What the fuck?
Yeah, he's. Like I said, I think there's enough people saying it.
So
where I think he's gonna. I think who did they play the last couple of games? I know they got A&M.
They got Georgia State, then A&M. So they'll beat Georgia State. That's whatever. But he could make
he doesn't get that last data point when everyone's watching the championship weekend.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's his biggest issue. Is if Bo Nix balls championship weekend, that could end up dooming him, which is crazy because we can all objectively say that Jayden Daniels is better than Bo Nix. Like if you put Jayden Daniels on Oregon, they would be the favorite to win the Natty hands down.
You put him on you put him on like any of the top 5 teams right now. I think you'd say that.
Yes, yeah. Ohio State with Jayden Daniels. Are you kidding me right now? That would be a team, dude. So congrats to Jayden. That was one of the most fun games I've ever watched in my entire life.
Those receivers, though, too, are damn good. Like watching.
Oh, yeah. Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors are incredible.
We know Malik, but like Brian Thomas has been special this entire season. We don't talk enough. At least from the outside world, like we always focus on Jayden and then Malik. Brian, to me, has been having that number 2 receiver like that can go out there and win one-on-one balls down the field. Whew, Levin's good.
Brum's in the chat. He says A&M about to align with the Saudis to steal Kirby Smart. Yeah, they're gonna go full live golf. Just make him an offer. They can't say no to Marty Funkhauser. $5 super chat for A&M to make this move now. We better have a splash higher lined up.
They gotta know. They have to feel pretty good about someone, I would think. Right? some behind the scenes politicking already
Yeah,
happening?
yeah. It would have to. It would have
Because
to,
we just
right?
went through
Yeah,
to us, there's not a lot of names out there, so you have to feel pretty good about one of those 2
yeah.
or 3 candidates would leave if you're going to get rid of Jimbo for that amount of money.
Ooh, this is actually a good point from Alan. He says it took the kick 6 to derail Bama's three-peat. Going to take something like that to prevent UGA from three-peat. Yeah, yeah. I mean, probably right. Like that's kind of how these things tend to work. Like
I don't know.
that's no. I'm just saying that's why it's all I mean is like that's why it's so hard to win championships because some bullshit like that can be the difference between.
Well, that was my one worry,
or not.
and I'm just right. Real brief back on the Georgia thing. That was my one worry last night heading to Athens was if it was going to rain. Like the last thing I wanted to go to if Georgia loses their first game because it's a sloppy football game with a bunch of turnovers, like how crappy would that be? Like that's not how you want to go out. Like
The
luckily it
fear of a
wasn't.
fan. I love
Yeah.
the irrational fear of loving something where you love it so much that you just think about all the bad
I mean, but
shit
how bad would that have been?
happen,
Like how bad would that have been though? Like it's a downpouring game that ends up being sloppy and Ole Miss finds a way to win. Like that would be I would say one of the worst ways to kind of go down. Yeah.
All right. So I feel like everybody's pretty much in agreement. Jayden Daniels is awesome.
Yep.
Let's talk Oregon USC. Oregon's kind of been.
Does Florida make a bowl game? They win one of the next 2.
Oh, hold on. Let me think about it. Okay.
Missouri?
Wait. No. I haven't. No. I have an
State.
answer. I have an answer. I don't fucking care. Florida's so boring and so bad. Get the hell out of here.
Hey, Graham Mertz played well last night. Come on. You got to see it up close, personal.
I don't. Graham Mertz plays really good against bad defenses. I don't know what to tell you. I said it before. I told y'all the other day, if we looked at the defenses like LSU that they've played, they averaged 38 points a game. And we said, if Jayden plays, I think LSU's I feel fine. LSU's going to win, but Florida's going to put up points. What they do, they put up 35. Jayden played, they won. Like, I don't know, dude. Yeah, Aaron. Okay, chill out. You heard the crows. I already did. Aaron Bryan just here to watch you. I'm talking about Georgia clearing number 1, having the best resume all of a sudden. Okay. Yeah, they're the number 1 team. But like Ole Miss isn't that good, like, let's be honest. I'm just kidding. Relax. I know all you Georgia fans I've seen so many comments online like, here come the Ole Miss aren't good takes. Relax, guys. Just enjoy the success. Oregon USC. Oregon looked great again. Yep. The game ended a little closer. Is that wasn't really close? Like the score doesn't really dictate how the game was. Bo Nix was great. The Oregon defense continues to be the element that kind of separates them from other schools. And look, I'll say it. Washington's defense is going through it right now. It's really bad. And
Oregon's defense got after it last night versus USC. I mean, they made Caleb Williams' life hell, that defensive line.
So I understand. Like, I will not fault anybody for saying that Oregon will beat Washington. I will point out that Washington's beat him twice in a row, both home and away. But like, I get it. Like, to our eye test, it appears like Oregon is maybe the better team.
Sorry, the crows are rolling again. Yes, they are the better football team. And they're just a more complete team, which is why I kind of thought they would win the first go-round, and it just seemed to be on the road in Washington was just a little bit too much. But the defensive line, the back end, their ability to stop the run, I mean, they made USC's offense look pretty damn pedestrian for the majority of the football game. And Bo Nix, as we just talked about, looks like a Heisman candidate. He's been accurate this entire season. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't turn over. He's playing like the 25-year-old self he is. Very mature, understands defenses, and puts in the spot where his guys can make plays. And he has some pretty talented receivers and running backs on top of it. So are they good enough to go toe for toe? Because I think that's a big thing everyone keeps bitching and moaning about. It's like, oh, well, they're good enough to win the Pac-12, but just wait till they play an SEC team. I do think Dan Lanning has built a team that is really good in the trenches. Like, they got a great defensive line. They got a good offensive line. They got great skill in Bucky Irvin and Troy Franklin. You got a mobile quarterback that is been deadly accurate. So, like, why couldn't they be more competitive? I don't know if they would win or not, but I guarantee you it ain't going to be like the shellacking they took against Georgia, to start last season off. Like, this roster is better than they were a year ago. Bo's better than they were a year ago. And the defense is significantly better than they were a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, all true on all counts. So I think most people would say that Oregon is the betting favorite to win the Pac-12.
Yep.
I'm still rolling with my Husky boys, even though from a gambling perspective, I am deeply upset. I'm like a disappointed parent. We'll get into it in a little bit, but anything to say on USC and Caleb Williams? It's kind of funny. They've kind of receded in the background here, but if we
They've
had
fallen
said,
off.
I was going to say though, but if we had said before the season that they were going to be 7-4 and Caleb Williams was going to be kind of, well, not pedestrian. Pedestrian is not fair to label him, but
He looked
you
good.
know what I'm
I mean,
no,
Caleb
I
still
know,
made Caleb plays all last night.
No,
Like
I
Caleb made
know.
Caleb plays.
Well, but he also made a
own-
bunch of bad Caleb plays. Like so, like
he's caught in the trap right now where I think he as he should care so much, and I think you saw that in the emotion of him. I think it was a week ago when he was crying, in the stands with his parents.
Yeah.
And I hate that we use the word I love that, but it just shows me kind of the heart he has, because we kind of view him as like, oh, he's this NFL quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner, and man, it still means a lot to him. Obviously, he's out there trying to do anything he can to will this team to victory because he knows it's a one-man show right now. The offense is not as good as they were last year. The weapons aren't as good. The offensive line is definitely not as good. He's having to play hero ball. And hero ball is gonna cause you to make mistakes. But he also knows that if I don't be a hero and make those kind of, Patrick Mahomes type plays, we're not going to move the ball down the field.
So you're right. So pedestrian, like just excuse me, Your Honor, can we strike that from the record? I never said that. Thank you. Tell the stenographer, erase it. But if we would have said before the season that USC was going to be 7-4, I mean, that ain't good, Bo. Like I know it's kind of lost in the excitement of Oregon and Washington and everything, but like Lincoln Riley, this has been a disastrous year too. Really, really has been. And now he's going to lose Caleb Williams.
Do you think there's a way to keep Caleb?
What? No. What? Like fuck no. What is kind of crazy?
Can Caleb graduate? And if Carson goes to the NFL, can Caleb just go to Georgia?
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. Shut the hell up. I hate you. What's kind of funny? Did the Fansville commercial actually curse Caleb? You know the one I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Where they're playing with the idea of the Madden curse and everything. And every time I see it now, I'm kind of like, ugh, because like they're 7-4. It kind of did.
Is this the last game next weekend though? Like I know we talked about the whole controversy a few weeks ago of, does he play the rest of the season? Like, yes, he should play the rest of the season.
Don't you,
does he play
this? Don't you, Emmanuel?
I'm just asking, but like, I think a random ass bowl game is different than a regular season game. I think that's
I agree.
very different.
Yeah, of course. You finish the season and then you don't play the bowl game. Who gives a fuck?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this could be his last game this weekend.
Oh, is this their final game? They don't have two left?
This is their final game.
Oh yeah. Wow.
This is it. They're 7-4. Unless they have a bye. No, final game this weekend. They get the last weekend off. Versus UCLA. This may be the last time you see Caleb Williams playing college football this weekend.
Damn, that's kind of crazy to think about, man.
I know.
Brett Rocamore, not a surprise. USC has no defense. Oklahoma never had a defense either. Oklahoma's defense was getting better at the end, though. That's why he kept Alex Grinch, and it just it didn't work. Kilroy's T-Bob, can Georgia beat Alabama? Oh yeah, I mean absolutely right. They just got to go do it. It's something that Kirby Smart's only done once. But I would take Georgia. I can't wait. That SC championship is going to be awesome.
I think we haven't talked about that either. Like that game is now set. Georgia, Bama, Atlanta, 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now. You get
it's officially set in stone. You're right. Oh, okay, let's go, boys. And then I'm heading to Disney the day after. Are you fucking kidding me? Be drinking Epcot beers. Oh, cannot wait. All right. Washington, Utah. Again, a really good win for Washington because they overcame a lot of mistakes. Early, just defensive breakdowns from Washington led to Utah jumping out of leads in that first half. Washington had a pick six that should have sealed it, where old boy's running into the end zone, Aaron. It's his first career interception, fifth-year senior. The pick six to go up double digits, going to end the game. The whole crowd's going crazy. He drops the ball, not at the half-yard line, not at the 1 yard line. This motherfucker drops it at the 2. And then 2 Huskies run behind him celebrating, and they don't pick it up. And there's one fat O lineman from Utah that knows, and one safety that's flying in, and he's so much faster than the O lineman, but he's not close enough. And the fat boy comes up with the play, dude. That's why you never give up on the play, kids.
Damn right.
But yeah, so look, I think it's a really solid win for Washington, although now people are going to use the transitive sports properties and say, look what Oregon did against Utah, and clearly Oregon's much better than Washington. because like Michael Penix and Rome Odunze were fucking awesome, and like the whole cast of weapons were awesome once again.
No, they were, and the offense is not the problem. Like the offense is great. It's just there's not a balanced football team, but they're still in the mode of the same thing as we talk about with a lot of these teams, especially the undefeated. Win in advance, win and survive, and they've done a lot of winning and surviving over the past month. I feel like we've been saying this every week for Washington. All of a sudden, like nothing has looked easy, nothing has been sexy. They've had games where the defense actually did show up, and the offense did it. Now they've kind of gone into the mode of defense has just forgotten how to play football all of a sudden. And this was, we said it last week, this was the opportunity to get the get right game. Because I had the feeling of like the defense is not as bad as what they've shown on tape for the past few weeks. You're going against Utah. You're at home. You have the fans on your side. You got a backup quarterback in Utah. You have a struggling Utah offense. This is your moment to get right. Just like people use USC as a get right game if you need to get going on offense, you use Utah as a get right game if you need to get going on defense. And you couldn't get right.
They did not get
against
right.
the Utes is
not get right.
very concerning for me as you look at the Pac-12 matchup that we're going to get, and Oregon's kind of hitting on all cylinders right now. So who knows? Listen, you allude to it. They've won the past 2 times they faced them. You got Michael Penix is one of the best quarterbacks in America. You got very talented receivers. Probably still going to be a very competitive game that I would lean Oregon, but
again,
win in advance for Washington. Just win the damn football games.
I'm not faulting anybody for leading Oregon. All I'm pointing out is that as good as the Oregon defense is, 2 years in a row, Washington's offense has outperformed them.
Yep.
So like it is a very good defense, but Washington's passed the test. But it's hard to beat a good team 3 times, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, there's a comment here I wanted to get to. Where Akinio Obi pointed out they shut out Utah the second half. That's fair. Yes, that is true. I forgot. Like I didn't point that out. I should have pointed that out because I think it was 28-24 at half. So the Washington defense did end up showing up in that second half. It's why they win the game. On a personal level, it was one of the most frustrating gambling experiences I've ever had where we do a thing called the pontoon parlay on my radio show on Friday. It's very fun. We all pick game, we go in together, and all I needed was -8. And there was a dropped 2-point conversion. There was the pick 6 dropped to the 2, Aaron. There was a missed field goal with a minute fucking left to go up by 10. There were 3 4th down penalties that killed 4th down conversions. It was just y'all, do you know what edging is? It was gambling edging. I was not allowed to finish, just couldn't get it over the finish. What happened to your mic? Your mic, the gain just shot up immensely. It just got very, very loud.
Can you hear me now? Does it sound good? We fine?
No, it sounds awful. Like we may have to actually stop. You got to figure it out because we've got to talk Mizzou, Tennessee real quick. The bottom line though is Washington's still incredible. Like Washington's still great. I am riding with my heart and my Huskies to win the Pac-12. It's going to be a damn good matchup with Oregon if they end up getting there. And this is the last thing I was going to say.
How do I sound, by the way? How do I sound?
You sound good now. You sound great.
Are we good? Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good. And I hesitate. I don't want to offend anybody. And I don't know the like real etymology. Like I don't know. Like, what's the best way to say it? Like Pacific Islanders? Like, but there are never more vowels on a football field at any given time than in a Washington-Utah matchup. I mean, we are an all-time pronunciation game for just a dumbass country
BYU,
boy.
Hawaii.
I mean, BYU would be up there. BYU, Hawaii would be another matchup that can maybe challenge it, Aaron.
Yep.
Like, how much studying would you have to do if you were calling Washington, Utah?
Oh, it's a lot. I used to, when I was with CBS, I had the Mountain West Conference, so I did a lot of Hawaii games. So I had to do that. Like the whole roster is you're breaking it down syllable by syllable.
Yeah. Pronunciation guide is an all-time good pronunciation guide.
Dude, it's a grind, man. It's a grind. You start on Monday. Usually I wait till like Thursday, Friday, if I start working on some of the ones that are a little bit harder, but those games you have to start on Monday working on the pronunciations.
Timothy Cook says, I don't see Washington or Oregon competing with Georgia at all. I did for much of the year, but God, the ascendancy of Georgia here is Oregon feels like a better matchup than Washington does right now.
Yeah, Oregon definitely does. I'll say this right now. It pains, I'm sure a lot of Georgia fans to admit this or say this. It looks like Georgia, Alabama are the 2 best teams in America at the moment.
I still think
Alabama looks
Alabama's a little
really
flawed. No, they do, and it's a Nick Saban daddy string. You know how I feel about that man. I hate him, but it's like I pay my taxes to him. But I hate him. But I do give to Caesar what is Caesar's. I don't know if I like. I don't know. Actually, maybe you're right. It's funny.
I mean, who
the more
else
things
would
change, the more. I mean, I still.
After we've seen from Michigan, Ohio State, Washington, Oregon.
I actually no. I would take Michigan over Alabama if they squared up. 100%. 100%. I would.
Where would you like Michigan offensively against Alabama's defense?
I think they'd run the ball. I think I think they'd be able to have success. Like they didn't throw the ball yesterday because they literally didn't have to. I still wouldn't have minded if they wanted to like be more aggressive, but like they just did not have to. I mean, bro, they didn't run a single pass second half, or they ran one, but it was a penalty.
Yeah, I know. It was like 20 straight runs at one point.
That's so fucking Big Ten. It hurts. Finally, Mizzou, Tennessee. What more can you say about this Missouri Tiger football team in Como, who's the second best team in the East? Great for you dogs. Okay, that Mizzou win, quality win, jack it up. I mean, somebody tweeted this yesterday, and they're like, I know that people don't want to say this because the brand, but like they were basically saying, I believe Mizzou's a top 10 football team, and people just can't kind of wrap their heads around it. And if they're not top 10, they're maybe like 11 or 12. Like that's a damn good football team. And they were awesome yesterday. Just what a performance in front of the home crowd.
What Cody Schrader, was a D2 player, comes out there with 200. He's been great this entire season. Like what
did he do yesterday that's never been done in the SEC or something? Was it
200
yards ground, 100 through the air?
Yeah, then 100 in the air as well. 5 catches, 116. And they did it once again, like back-to-back weeks where Luther Burden wasn't a huge factor. He wasn't a big factor for Georgia. They didn't win that game, but were very competitive on the road in Athens. And Luther had his touchdown, I believe it was in the fourth quarter, just on a little sneak route in the flat, caught it, just outran the defender for the touchdown, but really was not
the speed.
Major thing. Yeah, but this was just a game where we talked about Missouri last week, their physicality, and what kind of surprised. Like I talked to a lot of Georgia players yesterday and during the week, and they said like Missouri's a damn good football team. They're a really physical team. And you saw that on display. Tennessee, what has Tennessee done this year? They've run the football. Well, they only had 83 yards rushing. They were the more physical team. And
Tennessee is damn good in the trenches.
Yes.
They give up the least amount of sacks in TFLs in the league. They have the most amount of sacks, like second or third TFLs in the league. Like I thought that's what I wasn't sure about. And Mizzou just didn't do okay. They whooped that ass, man.
They whooped them up front. And it was actually Joe Milton's best game. I mean, you take away the pick six at the end, which the game was kind of already over at that point anyways. But like Joe actually played the best game I thought he's played this entire season. It's just he didn't have the help of his defense being able to stop the run or his ability. I mean, he was the leading rusher at 36 yards. Jalen Wright had 22, Sampson had 20. Their offensive line got whooped up front. I mean, whooped. And that's just, I'm not surprised. Like what Missouri did last week to Georgia, I thought it might be a little bit more difficult because, Tennessee splits and you can't put 7-8 guys in the box like they did versus Georgia. But they found a way to get after the run game with 5-6 guys at times.
Well, and what's kind of crazy is, so I was thinking about this the other day. Like, what's one of Mizzou's issues, right? Probably geographical recruiting. Like, but like LSU, they have an entire state to themselves, and not unlike Georgia, right? I mean, don't throw Georgia Tech in here. Shut the fuck up. And so that comes in the NIL era. That means an entire state's economy is funneled to Mizzou. And it's a shitty economy like Louisiana's, right? That's one of the other advantages Georgia has, is that not only do they have the most talent per capita, but they've got a great state economy and they've got no Division I competition. Again, so like Georgia is like how Dan Carlin talks about the Japanese on his World War II Rising Sun or whatever it's called, where he's like, the Japanese are like us, only more so. That is Georgia. But Mizzou has they're kind of uniquely well suited for sustainable success in this modern NIL era. And apparently they just passed some law where like high school players can start getting paid or something.
You can get paid if you commit to the in-state university.
Wow.
Yes. Big power move. Big power move. Yes. Big power move.
Let's go, dude. Let's go, dude. Yeah. So shout out Eli Drinkwitz, man. Got people believing, and should be coach of the year. You know, I was kind of between him and Lane, but I think I would give Eli coach
Well,
of
and
the year.
I know there's a lot of people that are
too.
talking. And maybe this will be a fun topic this week for us to discuss. But I was watching the post game last night after the LSU game with that crew, and I think two of them said, one said Saban for kind of what he's kind of gone through with the two new coordinators and the
Miss
offense.
me with that shit, dude.
Yeah, another one said Kirby, and then I think Alyssa. No, maybe it wasn't Alyssa, but one of them said Eli, and I would go Eli too. Like 10-2 at Missouri with your two losses are against those two teams, and you were competitive in Athens. I think what he's done, and listen, there's a lot of questions last year of he got the extension after a 6 and 7 year, and people are like,
pretty heady play by the administration.
Yeah, very good.
Good call, guys.
But once again, for those who remember, like the last season was 2 or 3 plays away, which you said
from like
they were legitimately.
Yeah.
Like
that's true. That's a good
away.
Point. That's actually a really
like
good
a mixed extra point and a fumble through the end zone versus Auburn.
Yeah,
that's a win. Like that's just weird stuff happened last year where that team should have been probably an 8-win football team, and I think that the administration saw that.
Yeah. But again, that it was not the most popular move. So good on them. Looking very smart now. Good investment. Brett Roquemore, these Bama fans are delusional. Mildew would be no problem for UGA. Mildew will get running for his life. I love a good dumb nickname that you just continue to use. I used to call Kirby Smart Kirby Dum Dum. I can't do it anymore, but it was very fun while it lasted, dude. All right.
Very Trump.
That's it. What?
It's a very Trump of you.
Kirby Dum Dum. All right, that'll do it, y'all. Hey, hit the like button. Thank you so much, man. Great numbers this morning, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Very fun. Jimbo out. Georgia #1. Jayden Heisman. The fucking impending Pac-12 heavyweight battle. Yeah, just fantastic. Fantastic day of college football. We love you. We'll be back live tomorrow at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, every single day. Please, the road to 8K continues. So if you're new around here, hit the like button. I'm about to go to church as well. Busta. Let's go get right here on this Sunday. And then I got Nutcracker rehearsal this afternoon, Aaron. And guess what? It's costume fitting day. That's right, dude. They had to
squeeze in, baby. Squeeze in there.
They had to customize a they had to order a custom costume for me. They've never had a 6'4", 270 sexual ball of mass and energy like me on that stage.
I bet.
Y'all are the best, guys. We love you so much. We love you. Thank Pat Gunther, PG, our guy, always up early, producing, creating thumbnails, Chris Tran, Danny Cardenas, Adam Gracia, Christian Hunter, Ryan Brumley. Like everybody works so hard. So thank you, everybody. And we love you. RW Tyndall, Jimbo's on the hot seat. No, Jimbo's on the cool throne because he just got fired. He's getting 75 million. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Snaps.